In this lesson, we are going to start to introduce this idea of a definite integral. But we're going to take a step back and talk about area real quick, because we've been talking about left Riemann sums, right Riemann sums, middle Riemann sums, or midpoint. And so that idea is that we are creating all these little rectangles and adding them all together. And that area is kind of representing a rough idea of an area under a curve. And that area under a curve is basically the curve to the x-axis. Well, we haven't had any equations that have gone below the x-axis. So if you have that, can you have negative area? And so if we have area here and we have area here, this is going to be considered actually negative area, and this is going to be positive area. So they're going to negate each other to a point. And so if you have something like this, so here's the idea. It says, consider the region R bounded by the graph of a continuous function f in the x-axis. So everything's connected to the x-axis between A and B. And then the net area is the sum of the areas of the parts of the R that lie above the x-axis minus the sum of the areas of the parts that lie below the x-axis. So in short, net area is the sum of the positive areas and the negative areas. So just add them all together, treat them positives as positive, negatives as negatives, add them all together. If you have more positives, then you have a positive net area. If you have more negatives, then you're going to have a negative net area. So just a real quick idea to this is we're going to find the area of a curve under the curve of f of x equals -2 from 1 to 6. So we don't have an equation. I mean, we have an equation, but we're just going to draw a visual to this. And so if we have a graph and we're graphing just essentially y equals -2, that's just going to be a horizontal line. So we'll throw the x-axis here, 1, 2. So from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to go from 1 to 6. And so here's our line of y equals -2, and our area that we're talking about is from 1 to 6. So we're talking about that area. And that area is below the x-axis, so we're going to get negative area. And so we're just finding the area of a rectangle, which has a height of 2 and a width of 6. So that area, the net area, is going to be, it's not 6, that's 5. 2 by 5. And so our net area is going to be a -10. So yes, area can be -10. That will represent something when we talk about like word problems associated to it. Might be a direction, might be an overall movement that you had. So you went in a direction to the left versus to the right, or up versus down, something like that. So that negative area is, there's some meaning behind it. So, but that's just a quick idea. And then eventually in the next video, we're going to be talking about the math behind it. Right? Like how can we, because we can't create we can't create a geometric shape on every single thing. And I don't want to do Riemann sums on every single thing. So we need to find a better way. And that better way is bringing in integrals.